Drama in Steve Harvey's family is nowhere close to being over because his natural kitties are still feuding with his woman, Marjorie. His oldest son, Brandi, especially seems to have a major problem with Marjorie, and sources say she has no way really trusted her. So is it true that Marjorie made Steve prioritize his espoused children further than his natural kitties? And what really happened between Brandi and Marjorie? So we all know that Steve's kitties have no way really liked Marjorie, but her recent allegations revealed just how muddled up the situation really is. And it's not like these allegations are coming out of thin air, because people have been giving Marjorie some major side eye ever since she got married to Steve. There has been a lot of talk on social media about how Marjorie is only with Steve because of his plutocrat, not because she really likes him. But the drama in the Harvey family goes deeper than Marjorie being after Steve's plutocrat, because Steve's natural kitties believe that Marjorie has turned their father against them and forced him to pay further attention to her own kitties. So there has been this scuttlebutt going around for times that Marjorie put pressure on Steve to borrow her own 3 kitties and give them his last name. But indeed, though Brandi and her siblings set up it weird, they did not push more on it because they allowed. It would end there, but they were wrong. Over the time since Marjorie and Steve have been married, Marjorie has been steadily pushing her own kitties to the frontal line, especially Lori. People have always set up it weird how Lori is the most notorious of Steve's kitties when she is not indeed his natural sprat. He obviously favors her above his other kitties, and this has been known to beget issues between Lori and Steve's natural kitties, because they feel a type of way about how he gives her preferential treatment above the rest of them. According to a source, he did the right thing espousing Marjorie's kitties, and loves them like his own, but there is a lot of dissension among the amalgamated Harvey clan. There has unfortunately been some covetousness moping amongst the siblings over Lori, who is the most notorious of all Steve's kitties, taking over the limelight with her high-profile love life. The bigwig also claims that Brandi and the other kitties believe that Marjorie forced Steve to push Lori into the spotlight above Steve's own kitties, and that is why Lori is the most notorious stalk. And well, the internet believes that Marjorie was determined to make her kitties succeed indeed, if it meant that she had to push Steve's own kitties out of the way. For illustration, Steve's alternate woman, Mary, formerly exposed Steve for being aggressive towards her son Winton whenever he went to Steve's place for visit. Steve was formerly married to Marjorie at the time, and Mary believes that Marjorie might have added more energy to Steve's wrathfulness at Winton in expedience that Winton's mama would file for full guardianship of the boy, and Marjorie's own kitties would have one lower child to contend with for Steve's affection. There was a lot of drama girding this case back also, and Winton's mama, Mary, revealed that Winton told her some disturbing facts about what went down when he was over at Steve's. She claimed that Steve frequently got physical with Winton and hit him on several occasions. She also claimed that there was a time when Steve got frenetic and punched the boy so hard in the casket that he had the wind knocked out of him. And get this, that wasn't the last time, because she also claimed that there was a time Winton indeed came home one time looking all bruised after Steve had given him a whooping regarding his practice. It was so bad that Mary claimed that the boy could not pee for days. However, the plans weren't successful because Steve ended up filing for full guardianship of Winton and winning, if Marjorie's plans were really to separate Steve and Winton. This presumably has commodity to do with the fact that Mary could not go to pay fancy attorneys to fight the guardianship case, but that is a story for another day. But Winton wasn't the only bone that Marjorie allegedly tried to cut off from Steve, because Marjorie also kind of succeeded in doing the same thing to Steve and his first son from his first marriage, Broderick. As we know, all of Steve's children are eventually grown now, but a couple of times ago, Broderick revealed that he and Steve principally had a missing relationship until he was 16 times old. I did not really have my pater full-time into my life until I was 16. Sure, Steve paid child support and freights and all that, but he was principally absent in Broderick's life for 16 times, which is just wild to suppose about. And before he all supposed that Steve presumably did not know how to connect with his kitties or how to be a present pater. That wasn't the case because he was veritably present in the life of Marjorie's kitties. In fact, he was so present that they considered him to be their only father, indeed though their natural fathers were still alive. Now, I am not trying to say that Steve was wrong for espousing Marjorie's kitties and treating them like his own. But the problem is that he took Marjorie's kitties as his own while ignoring his own natural kitties. For illustration, he made no trouble to maintain a relationship with Broderick, but he put a lot of trouble into relating with Lori, and he indeed took her on frequent father-son date. He on one of our periodic father-son date to my favorite Japanese eatery. And you just started talking to me about guys, and you just told me that you know I was supported me, and you'd always be there for me no matter what, you loved me. And it's safe to say that Brandi and Carly must have felt hurt when she set up out that Steve was taking Lori on dates because that is commodity that he no way did with them. Indeed, though they're all grown over now, sources claim that they still hold a bitsy grudge against Steve for favoring Lori over his own daughters. It's been time since this all happened, but it's still veritably egregious that Lori is Steve's favorite, and he has much given up on trying to hide or deny this. Flashback what I said about how suckers have been giving Marjorie the side eye about marrying Steve for plutocrat. Well, suckers suppose Marjorie married Steve for his plutocrat, and that Marjorie would have no way indeed looked doubly at Steve if he was not a millionaire. And to be fair, it does make sense because Marjorie has no way been the type to date broke men. She has been married to not one, but two known medicine dealers, and when they got fractured, Marjorie disassociated them and kept it moving. Also, she and Steve first met back in the 80s, and he the hots for her. Still, she turned him down and told him to get his coins up because she only dated men who would give for her. And when Steve eventually came back after his alternate divorce, he was formerly a millionaire and she was further than happy to say yes to him. People authentically believe that Marjorie is the text description of the evil mammy, and while Brandi and Steve's other kitties continue to tolerate Marjorie because they are family, they do not particularly like her veritably much. All these exposures have suckers dropping their 2 cents saying stuff like, "Darn shame she's wrong for that. I had a feeling that is what she did. Made him borrow her kitties and take care of them. The way he treats Lori and his natural kitties is unthinkable. That is why I do not support anything any of them do. When he gets aged, he is gonna lament how he did his real kitties. I went to high academy with the Habs. They were many times ahead of me, but people always talked and all eyes were on them because of who their father was. He was not present at their scale. Marjorie knew exactly what she was doing by having Steve borrow her kitties and change their name. Get that heritage. Steve and Marjorie are both shady people that earn each other. So what do you guys suppose about this messy family drama? Do you suppose that this is all Marjorie's fault? Or do you suppose that Brandi needs to stink it up and move on? Let me know what you suppose, and I'll see you in the coming videotape.